We've all seen the headlines about Gen Z and quiet quitting, and it makes it sound like people just want to do the bare minimum to get by. But if you're 50 and older, this is a little bit less about laziness and more of an awareness about an invisible contract that we were working under, and that contract is starting to bounce. You see, the old contract said, give us your health, give us your hobbies, and give us your extra hours, and in return, we'll give you a gold watch. But the reality is that gold watch doesn't really matter if your body's too broken to wear it. Today, we're talking about a strategic re-engagement that will allow you to be the most effective person in the room without letting the room consume your future. If you want to retire to your dream life instead of recovering from your work life, this may be the most important career move you ever make. So the biggest threat to your retirement may not be a market crash or a low 401k balance. It can actually be your 9-to-5 job. You see, the same job that you had when you were 25, that you were able to work all night or do a terribly long stretch or endure a hard, stressful week just by surviving on adrenaline and caffeine and donuts. Our body had a buffer that allowed us to handle that. After 50, that buffer is gone. And chronic stress leads to a cortisol loop that is actively hostile to our body, and it can affect our longevity. You see, after 50, cortisol doesn't just make you stressed, it actually drives insulin resistance. It actually affects and disrupts your sleep pattern. And here's the worst part, it actually eats away at your muscle mass. So the longer you have these types of jobs and careers and you make this trade to try to be a high performer, you are actually trading away your muscle mass, which you're going to need in your retirement for your current work. It's just not a trade worth making. It's a trade that you will regret. You just may not realize it right now. Okay, so let's address the elephant in the room. I'm not suggesting that you become a poor performer. I'm actually stressing the opposite. So sometimes just staying late to answer emails is just to be seen. It's performative busyness, but it's not really performative efficiency. And what I'm talking about is actually finding a way to continue to be a good employee without sacrificing your body and your long-term future in the process. You see, being an ethical employee means doing the job that you were hired to do. And if you can bring the wisdom and the experience to the job and solve problems quicker than junior employees can, then you're actually still doing what you're hired to do. You're just doing it in a way that's more efficient. And if you can get that done sooner rather than later, staying later, working longer, and taking on more work isn't the trade-off. It's just extra. And that's where you have to be able to know what the boundaries are. And that's what you have to do. You have to find these boundaries and be able to draw the line. You see, leaving at 5 o'clock isn't being lazy. It's putting a boundary up that allows you to say, I need to get home and do a resistance workout that's going to help my body function longer in life. It's going to build muscle instead of allow me to lose muscle. Or it's going to allow me to have the time to prepare a meal that falls within my intermittent fasting window, or a meal that meets the calories that I'm trying to keep on my calorie balance, as opposed to having to stop at a fast food restaurant on the way home because I'm stressed out and I'm out of time. This is what it is to set boundaries. And these boundaries allow you to be healthy. And being healthy allows you to be a good employee. You're not going to have chronic illness. You're not going to call off sick. You're going to be dependable and reliable. And quite honestly, most serious employers can see this for what it is. And they recognize that the most important ability is availability. So being at work day after day and able to work at your job at a high level is very valuable to them. When employees are off work with unproductive work hours due to sick and illness, that doesn't benefit the company at all. It actually hurts the company because they're still on the hook to pay those bills, but they're not getting the hours of work that would benefit them to become profitable and productive. So you have to really look at this long term and realize, and these boundaries aren't just for you, but they're for your employer as well. And like I said, a serious employer will see this for what it is. If they value you truly, they will not only understand it, they will appreciate it. So let's briefly talk about 3 pillars of strategic re-engagement. The first one is the wisdom dividend. Stop trying to out-hustle a 25-year-old. Their bodies are just stronger and more resilient than yours are right now, than yours is at this stage. On raw hours, you just won't beat them. But you have to draw upon your wisdom. You have to realize, what can you do with the 80-20 rule? Focus on 20% of the tasks that drive 80% of the results. This is the wisdom dividend that will allow you to reclaim your time without dropping the ball. The next pillar is the non-negotiable recovery window. You want to treat these windows like they are board meetings. They have certain start times and end times. And what I mean by this is, if you are taking your health seriously, then you need to be able to have certain times of the day when you can exercise. Sometimes this requires you to get out of work on on time so that you can get your work done before the sun goes down. Sometimes the gym closes and you have to be there before they close, or just to be able to participate in the exercise class that's important to you. Sometimes this has to do with meal preparation and just making sure that you can eat your meals in the certain windows in which you have to do it. What this pillar means is you have to actually make time for it and make it a non-negotiable. And the third pillar is radical transparency. So think of it this way. Everything we just talked about doesn't have to be a secret. It doesn't have to be a quiet quit. You can actually tell people what you're doing. Let them know, hey, these are non-negotiable things for me because these things are important to me and they're going to drive great results for my health and for the work product that I could bring to the job. You'll be surprised. Most people won't look at this as if you are quitting or becoming a slacker. They'll actually look at it as leadership and they will respect you for it. Understand, not everybody kind of responds the same way. You know the people in your workplace that look at everything as a negative. Don't share it with them. But the people that you have confidence in or your direct leadership, if you could pull them aside and share this with them and they can actually see and know what you're doing in a way that, and they understand the logic behind it, but you should be able to share this with the people that you have confidence in and the leadership that you trust. Because you do what you say you're doing, they will actually see that this is beneficial for them as well as for you. And they will be happy for you. And if they're not, well, then you might have to just reestablish whether or not the place you're working is the place that is best for you right now. And quite honestly, perhaps it isn't the greatest place for you to be. And if that's the case, then maybe this is something where you want to keep it a little bit more under wraps. But at the same time, always give your best while you're there, but don't sacrifice yourself for the job, because the salary that you're getting today won't make the difference in your future retirement. What will is your long-term health. Before we wrap up, I just ask that you give us a like, share, and subscribe. That will allow you to be prepared for your retirement that you deserve and that you should be able to enjoy long-term. Hey, also, one other thing that you can do is leave in the comments, tell us what you think of this video, but also tell us what you'd like to hear about in the future. Any video ideas would be greatly welcome. We want to bring stuff that you want, not stuff that we think you want. So let us know what that is so that we can do our homework, so that we can give you the information that you're actually looking for. So in conclusion, if you're starting to feel the stress in your life, if you're starting to notice that you're becoming weaker and you're just attributing that to getting a little bit older, well, that could be the case, but it doesn't have to be. You could start actively engaging today to get your muscles strong again and at least stabilized so that you can have that strength into your retirement. But one of the things you need to do is you need to start looking at your performance at work and realize that meeting expectations is a great result. Being an overachiever is something that I think we take a lot of pride in. We like to get exceeding expectations, make people see us as high performers, right? Because at the end of the day, that high performance is just a checkbox on a paper in a file that 10 years from now won't matter. But if you're trading that for better health, better food, better exercise, and a longer retirement that allows you to spend time with your friends, family, your grandkid, your future grandkid, and go on the vacations that you've always dreamed of, you'll be plenty happy to get meeting expectations today and sacrifice the exceeding expectations. At least I think your future self will tell you that. Thanks for watching this video all the way through. Like, share, subscribe, and let us know what you want.